Good day. We are the Group 4. Members are Lauron Aisindi, Bahenting J. Rondel C., Navalis Marcelo M., Alonzo Alrich, and Commendador John Cairol. So, safe working practice of vessel in port. So, first is harbor watch and patrol. It being understood that ISPS code requirements and provision of CSO, the master must, as soon as possible, A. Ensure the safety of life, ship, cargo, and port installation. B. Observe international and national and local rules. C. Maintain order and vessels normal routine. Lastly, D. Comply with security requirements. Next is communication with shore authorities. Further to be under an obligation to ship security plan, it is master's responsibility to obtain information on how to communicate with the following authorities. A. Shore fire brigade. B. Port authorities. C. First aid hospitals. Means of communication may be telephone or a portable VHF with the intrinsically safe properties.
Bunker sampling procedure for vessel using bunkers. At all bunkering operation, the chief engineer has to take bunker samples to avoid accident or pollution. The following procedure is to be followed. 1. Let the bunker drop continuously into one drum placed under the drain. Tap on the manifold during all bunkering operation. 2. Collect samples from these drums, 3 of 1 liter each. Number 3. Samples sealed and labeled with the date and place of delivery must be signed by the chief engineer, and bunker suppliers representative will keep on samples. 4. One sample should be given to share labs for analysis, and the remaining sample should be stored on board until new disposition ready for analysis in case of claims of other problems. So procedures when ship is temporarily immobilized. When the vessel is temporarily immobilized, arrangements are to be provided to ensure adequate safeguards against fire, flooding, and monitoring condition. If the vessel is afloat, the master must establish patrolling on board. If the firefighting system is not available, sustainable substitute system must always be available. Such system may be the portable fire pumps or the connection of the ship's fire main with the shore water fire systems through the international shore connection. So, precautions when drying the ships. When the vessel is scheduled for dry docking, it being understood that the part to responsibility at the authority master on board, the following precautions are to be taken. 1. Fuel tank content is to be kept to a minimum. Fuel tank adjusted to tank in which maintenance work is programmed are to be empty and ventilated. Fuel tanks to be maintained or repaired are to be rendered gas-free. B. The ship must be emptied from ballast at all free surface must be lowered. C. All double bottoms and tanks are to be sounded and relevant content recorded. And lastly, D. Main and auxiliary engines must be fed on diesel oil for the time necessary to replace heavy fuel in the feed piping.
So the next slide is the description of the work area. Preliminary recommendations. All the ships in terms of environment of job are divided in two sections. So the first section is the engine section, whose personnel performs tasks and duties common to each type of ships. The next is the deck section, whose personnel performs marine tasks and common to all ships and specific for the type of cargo to be handled. So the next slide is the service of prevention and protection of the workers. So the DPA will also act as the company security officer, while the chief officer will be the onboard safety officer. So the master or the safety will certain that the new involved in the job knows how to use the equipments and know the dangers to them connected, and arrange for a training to the particular equipments or tools in case that it is recognized a non-familiar with its use. Next is the permit system. At some activities on board ships may be particular danger to personnel unless adequate precautions are taken and maintained for carry out these activities. The company has established a particular system based on permits given after the evaluation of risk and the adoption of the safety measures. So these are many types of operations on board a vessel where the actions of a person can inadvertently cause harm to another person, or where a procedure must be followed to ensure and safety persons carrying out specific operations. So the next is the enclosed space entry permits. So the permit must issued every time a person is required to enter an enclosed space where his life could be at risk, for the only reason or classifying the risk level connected to the internal atmosphere of a enclosed compartment. So the following factors are fundamental: current state of ventilation. Number 2 is the type of ventilation adopted. Number 3 is efficiency of the ventilation devices. And the number 4 is the adjacent compartments containing dangerous substances.
Work permits. Work permits must be issued whenever one of the following activities is being carried out. First, entry into enclosed spaces, work aloft, overboard, or on stages or exposed areas. Third, hard work, electric or flame welding. Fourth, work on the electric circuit. Fifth, underwater works and inspections. Accident analysis. The company, in the intent of raises the sense of prudence and auto-protection of his crew, foresees a procedure of analysis for the cases of accident that could occur. Hours of rest of crew members. In accordance with Part 2, Article 5 of the ILO Convention 1966, number 180, the sailor's minimum hours of work should not be less than 10 hours in any 24-hour period and 77 hours in 7-day period. Medical fitness. It is responsibility of the master or of a first aid and medical care trained delegated officer to arrange that medicines are always available on board. Medicines are given to crew members as required.
So the next slide is commitment to the company. The company is committed to promoting a safe, healthy, and productive working environment for all employees. The company recognizes that drug and alcohol abuse may impair the personnel's ability to perform their duties. Then next slide is hygiene on board ships. The master shall ensure that crew accommodation, laboratories, galley spaces, refrigerators, rooms, dry storerooms are maintained clean and hygienic. Weekly inspections of such spaces are to be carried out by ship officer in cooperation with the first engineer, cook, AB cook, and one deck or engine rating.